When talking about the biggest serial killers in America by the numbers, I searched the web and I noticed I see guys like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Zodiac Killer. But one person that I never see on any lists is Roy DeMeo. What is now a church was once a bar called the Gemini Lounge, where Roy did a lot of his killings. Roy DeMeo was a notorious American mobster associated with the Gambino Crime family, one of the 5 families that dominate organized crime activities in New York City. He was born on September 7, 1940, in Bath Beach, Brooklyn, and grew up in a working-class Italian-American family. Roy DeMeo became involved in criminal activities at a young age and rose through the ranks of the Gambino crime family, eventually becoming a captain. He was known for his ruthlessness and his involvement in various criminal enterprises, including loan sharking, extortion, and drug trafficking. However, he was most infamous for his role in organizing a crew of contract killers known as the DeMeo Crew, or the Murder Machine. Roy DeMeo had what was called the Gemini Method. DeMeo believed that if there was no body, then there was no crime. DeMeo and his crew perfected the Gemini Method. Anyone that double-crossed him would be lured to the Gemini Lounge. Once inside, the person would be led to the back of the bar where there was an apartment. DeMeo would jump out and shoot the person in the head with a silenced pistol and immediately wrap the head with a towel. Another crew member would stab the person's heart to get the body to stop pumping blood out of the wound. The body would be hung in the bathtub until all the blood drained from it. The body would be placed on plastic sheets, dismembered, and sent out to the Fountain Avenue dump in Brooklyn. Roy DeMeo's uncle was the bartender, and the uncle would call him up around 4 in the morning to say, "We have one," meaning there was an innocent person in the lounge, and Roy would come with his crew to kill the person. On Sammy the Bull's podcast, he told a story that Roy would fantasize about killing people. That when they had a meeting, there was around 30 people, aging about 60 to 90 years old. And Roy told Sammy that if he had 2 9mm, that he could kill them all. And Sammy told him most would die of a heart attack. Sammy the Bull asked him why he was killing random people. Roy told him it was to keep his crew sharp, according to Sammy the Bull, who himself had 19 murders under him. However, Roy DeMeo's criminal activities eventually caught up with him. He was suspected of involvement in as many as 200 murders, but he was ultimately arrested in 1982 on unrelated charges. Before he could stand trial, Roy DeMeo was found dead in his car in Brooklyn on January 10, 1983, murdered in what many believe was a mob-ordered hit by Paul Castellano. Gene Gotti mentions that his brother John was wary of taking the contract, as DeMeo had an army of killers around him. Most believe that fellow crew members Nino Gaggi, Patty Testa, Anthony Senta, and Joseph Testa were present and participated in the contract, killing ordered by Paul Castellano of Roy DeMeo. However, in the book, by Philip Carlo on Anthony Casso's life, it states that Gaggi wasn't present, and that DeMeo was seated about to drink a cup of coffee when the other 3 opened fire on him. Other stories emerged that Richard the Iceman Kuklinski carried out the hit, but most disregard his ever-changing story. Still, others say that Roy was lured to a garage in Brooklyn used by the car ring where the 42-year-old DeMeo had met with his trusted mentor, Anthony Nino Gaggi, a Gambino captain. He'd known Nino since 1965, however, Nino had to obey Castellano's hit command. No sooner had DeMeo removed his jacket than Nino opened fire. Roy's final resting place is St. John's Cemetery in Middle Village, New York.